Alright, where were we? Oh, yes. Instead, I decided to head outside and resume an earlier tour of the campus grounds, giving myself time to clear head. First lesson at Andromeda can begin. As I wander around the corridor, looking up at the classrooms from outside, reality finally begins to set in. Although I've been taking it easy so far, the fact of the matter is that I will soon be sitting in one of those classrooms, studying subjects not taught in other facilities. On this day, I've become a student of the illustrious Andromeda Academy. With all of the detours and encounters I've experienced so far, it's hard to think of this day of study. Even so, that's exactly what it is, my first day at a magic academy. It may seem surreal right now, but the reality of the situation is that I'll soon be sitting in a classroom filled with demi-humans studying my brains out. When I realize that we likely won't be doing anything difficult or especially interesting on our first day of class, I am excited to begin nonetheless. To this day, I have remained completely self-taught. I may have never tutored in magic by someone more experienced than myself, or attended any lectures, or even befriended other magic users. Everything I know, I learned from researching the work of others and attempting to recreate it myself. I wonder if I'll be able to adapt to a classroom environment. Having attended a normal schools until now, I'm no doubt at an advantage compared to other students here, like Draken. But as far as actually using magic in front of a class full of students is concerned, I shudder as I imagine myself failing miserably in front of my class. Even if I'm not socially awkward or afraid of crowds, but relatively speaking, at least, using magic in front of others is currently a big deal for me. During the entrance exam for Andromeda, I was required to perform basic spells in a private sitting with teachers and administrators. For that, however, I never once used magic in front of a complete stranger. It is not that I'm ashamed to be a mage or embarrassed about my weak output. If anything, it's quite the opposite. I'm proud of myself. I take great pride in what I've accomplished using my own power. I strongly believe that I've realized certain truths about magic which nobody else has, and that I could do things that nobody else has figured out how to do. But if that's wrong, I'll do my best in front of a classroom full of people and nobody is impressed in the slightest. Then where does that leave me? No, I can't afford to start thinking that way. I'm on something. I may have discoveries that no one else has. Even if my work is found to be derived or similar to someone else's, my research was definitely not in vain and will have an impact on others. I'm going to become a world-renowned magic researcher. Just to wait and see. I unconsciously pump my fists into the air of my body as I psych myself up. What are you doing? Wow. I jump to the side as a bemused voice calls out to me from behind. Greeting me with a deadpan expression is Laisha, who seems unfazed by my reaction. Laisha, I have been called as such, yes. Now, will you answer my question, Sable? Is this some kind of training or ritual I would like to hear about? I ponder Laisha's words for a moment as I think back over my actions. All I did was walk around with my head down, then put my fist in front of me. A peculiar sight to be sure, but nothing worth thinking about. What's your choice? I guess I'll just explain properly. I sigh out loud, then smile wryly as I address Laisha. No, it's nothing like that. There's really no great meaning behind what I just did. It's certainly not something as important as a ritual. Oh, if there's no meaning behind the action, why did you do it? I scratch my head as I think how to explain myself. I don't know, it's like, have you ever raised your arms above your head as a sign of victory and placed your hands over your hips while reprimanding someone? No, I never acted in such a manner. How about crossing your arms when you're dissatisfied or tilting your head when you're confused? No, I have not. Sigh, you're not making this easy. I hang my head in defeat. I never realized that such a basic behavior of human beings could be completely absent from a race which is similar to us biologically. No, wait, maybe Laisha does do all those things, but she simply lacks self-awareness. If nothing else, she at least seems to alter her facial expression in the same manner as everyone else. All of those actions you mentioned, are they common among human folk? I can understand the benefits of altering your stance as a means of conveying intent to a third party. However, the actions of which you spoke of all seem unnecessarily conspicuous and exaggerated. Rather than using such actions to express intent, it seems to me like you humans simply enjoy frivolity. Yes, that might be the case. Maybe it will, at least if you just thought of those actions as supplementary methods of communication. Are they? In a manner of speaking, yes, though we mostly do it unconsciously. I see. Aisha's face warps slightly as she thinks over what I've told her. After a few moments of contemplation, she lowers her head and sighs. How foolish. Why would someone wish to make their feelings so abundantly clear and easy to read? To unconsciously announce your feelings to others. I could only see this as weakness, says the girl whose facial expressions match her every word. There's no maybe about it. This girl definitely lacks self-awareness. I decide against pointing out the fallacy in Laisha's argument. Instead, I changed the topic to something I actually want to discuss. So Laisha, we meet out here once again. Did you come here straight after the opening ceremony? Indeed, I did. Why did you go with everybody else to the cafeteria? Why aren't you hungry? Like I can eat the pre-processed food served en masses by humans. I'm pretty sure none of the cafeteria staff are human. What's more, some of the dishes I saw on the menu were as far as pre-processed as you can get. Be that as it may, I still feel no desire to eat that stuffy room surrounded by strangers on every side. I would rather spend my time out here, sitting beneath the trees and breathing in fresh air. When you put it like that, I can't really blame you. But is it really okay? You might miss something important if you keep going off on your own. Are they truly in a position to say that? I could look up whatever information I need on my terminal, so even if I miss a few lectures, I'll be okay. That's right, isn't it? Laisha displays slight frustration as I remind her of the ability which only of us currently possesses. In that case, I suppose it can't be helped. If I lose my way, I will come to you for support. Laisha, are you? Do not misunderstand. I'm merely saying that I will be relying on you as one student from another. We are in the same class after all. It's our responsibility as classmates to support one another. Sure, make that excuse. Aisha pouts unhappily while unintentionally sharing her true feelings. That moment when she said that she wasn't gonna make any facial stuff and then she actually does. You even look up the class I've been placed in. I did no such thing. I was just simply glancing through the names in my class list and I happened to notice your name on there. It's not like I was searching for your name in particular or anything. Laisha defends herself in a fluster, desperately trying to convince me of the fact that she hasn't given me a second thought since our meeting earlier. No, Laisha, when you get embarrassed, even your ears start to turn red. On an elf, that's actually quite a sight, considering that they have bigger ears. I'm not at all embarrassed. Fooling nobody, Linsha clenches her fist and asserts herself once more. Haha, calm down, Laisha. I'm just messing with you. Man, your friends must have a lot of fun teasing you. A true friend would not seek to harass me in the first place. Where's the fun in that? I smirked to myself and inwardly thanked Laisha. While meeting up with Laisha was not part of the plan, when I first came out here jokingly around with her has helped to improve my mood for the better. Even if she comes off a bit unsociable, I think I'll be able to get along with Laisha. So, Miss Valedictorian, will you be coming to class shortly, or do you plan on staying here a while longer? I will show my face in due time. For the moment, however, I wish to refrain from fraternizing with the others any more than necessary. Fraternizing? I'm talking about our classmates. How can you already have a low option of them? I take it that you not attend the opening ceremony? I raise an eyebrow at Alicia's words, then shake my head. I thought as much. Mingling with those curtains would be a waste of time. You'll see what I mean when you enter the classroom. Leaving behind those ominous words, Laisha begins to walk away, heading in the opposite direction of the academy. Wherever she's headed, it seems like Laisha's in no rush to join her classmates, and I, before long, shall find out why. Yeah, what is the reason why she doesn't like her classmates so much? Well, I guess we're probably gonna find out. Worry of Laisha's warning. I wait outside my classroom for a few minutes before approaching the door. From outside, I could see through the glass panel on the door, and for a while I have no idea why Laisha was so hesitant to enter. The students are all quiet, sitting on their own, or casually chatting with the person next to them. Some have their textbooks out, others are playing with the physical terminals placed on their desks meant as a stopgap until they could use it to spell itself. No matter how many times my eyes scan the classroom, I fail to notice anything that would merit caution. And then it hits me. The moment I walk through the door, the volume of my classmates increased exponentially. Everyone is either sitting on their desk or standing grouped together in the middle of the classroom. I spot one student stuck to the ceiling looking down the shirts of my female classmates. Another is standing at the front of the classroom trying some spell akin to a party trick. Put simply, the entire room is in a state of chaos. What the heck is going on here? What happened to the quiet, well-behaved classmates I observed a moment ago? Was I just imagining things? Casting a glance back towards the door, I quickly understand what is going on. A sound-blocking spell on the door, illusionary magic on the glass panel. Through the strategic use of the two specialized yet not overly complicated spells, the class is able to fly under the radar while doing as they see fit. Even our teacher would have a hard time punishing my classmates after seeing their creative use of such magic. I can see what Laisha was talking about. It's certainly more peaceful in the courtyard, away from these troublemakers. Maybe I should. Well met, dear prince. Before I could turn around and head out of the classroom, a strange being appears in front of me. Forgive me for approaching you so suddenly, but I'm afraid I have no choice. The moment I spotted you from across the room, I could not stop myself from making your acquaintance. The person in front of me has placed its hand on my shoulder. Leaning in close, it continues to whisper sweet words into my ear. From the unique contours of your body to your supple flesh, there is not a speck of imperfection to be found. Your eyes, like gems, beckon me closer, even as common sense dictates otherwise. Pray, before I succumb to despair, would you grant me this lowly being your name? Motionless, I continue to observe the peculiar person in front of me. It speaks its praise with every breath and exudes a sense of mystery as I ponder its words. But above all else, what surprises me most of all is that I found myself strangely attracted to it. I'm Sable Liber. Sable, is it? Such a fitting name for one as transcendent as yourself. Tell me more about yourself, Sable. From where do you hail? What is your family structure? Have you ever fallen in love? A face begins to form on the blank slate as it continues to speak. The soft, delicate features of a gorgeous young woman become manifest, transforming the canvas in front of me into a beautiful girl. My heart skips a beat as I attempt to respond. Who is this person, and how can their appearance change before my very eyes? No, did they change, or did my mind simply blank out a moment I saw Sable, my love? Ah, my chest tightens once again. A radiant smile is beaming down on me, quickly sapping my strength. I can feel my lips quiver as our faces grow closer. I tell my body to back away, but it won't listen. My own feelings have rendered me powerless. Impossible. Is this what it means to fall in love? To have my own body turn against me, to feel a heart beat harder and louder than ever before? It's almost like my eyes shoot wide open as I finally realize what's going on. Taking my eyes off the suspiciously attractive woman in front of me, I focus instead on the others surrounding us. Surely enough, the air is filled with suspicious movements of other. A clear indication that someone is currently casting a spell. By analyzing the abnormal other patterns in the air around us, I'm able to trace the source of the closest abnormality back onto an obvious source. It'll disrupt this suspicious flow, at which my heart immediately begins to slow back down to the usual place. Ha, that's much better. Love might be something outside my comfort zone, but spells are well within my area of understanding. Seriously though, how could I have fallen for that, even though there was an illusionist in this classroom, both for such an obvious, that, how embarrassing. Thinking back what I saw looking through the glass panel on the door earlier, my conclusion is obvious. The creature in front of me exudes perception altering magic. I'm not in love, I'm just weak minded. Sable, my dear, sweet Sable, where have you been all my life? It feels like well now have your side I am truly. Back off, buddy. I push away the creature's hand, and its face turns to the blank state it once was. And yet, despite its lack of expression, astonishment, it's evident on the canvas before me. My, that was fast. You are the first being to ever break my spell so quickly. The creature took a step back, its voice filled with curiosity and joy. Now I really am interested in you. What manner of being are you? How high are you ranked? I thought you were a mere human. That is not evidently not the case. Yeah, so that was all a trick. Yeah, it's kind of low-key savage to pull, but nonetheless, I shake my head and sigh. I'm 100% human, and I'm not even close to being highly ranked. If I'm the quickest to break your illusion, you're just picking easy targets. The corners of the creature's mouth, or rather the contours, where one's mouth would usually reside, rise. Is this thing smiling? You give yourself too little credit, my dear. Before coming here, I had snailed all manner of beings, old and young, male and female, noble and commoner. While you may not be highly ranked, you are undoubtedly quite observant. While the creature's words are not completely accurate, I can't deny that I'm observant at least one regard. Ether, the mystical energy which courses through the bodies of all living things. Ether is all around us. It pulses through the core of the planet, flows along ley lines, gets carried by the wind, and even travels through the ray of the sun. Or is it that ether facilitates the movement of the wind and passage of light? Is ether the reason why Earth spins? And why entities orbit around large, dense objects filled with ether? Even in this day and age, when ether is used for so many aspects of our daily lives, there are still countless questions which remain unanswered. Every day, theories are proven or disproved. New concepts are tested, and our understanding of the magic that grows just a little bit more mature. One reason why ether is so difficult to study is because it is not the same as conventional matter. It is neither a wave nor a particle. It cannot be stored in a typical container, such as a jar, yet it may inhabit an ancient artifact. Furthermore, ether is difficult to observe. Most beings cannot actually see ether. Even those adept in magic typically just feel its presence, like they would a breeze or the heat of summer. Very few people are capable of seeing ether with their own eyes. And even among those who can most choose to do so, due to its strained places on their body. I know this because I am one of those fortunate few. Whatever your background may be, you may without a doubt caught my interest. Please do me the belated honor of allowing me to introduce myself. The creature smiles and tilts its head forward. My name is Hel, and I am a Nopo Arabu, whatever that is. Now, before you get the wrong idea, do note that I am not one of those mischievous foxes playing a prank. I am, in fact, the real deal. Whatever reference Hel is attempting to make, it is unfortunately lost on me. A Nopera Abu? What the heck is that? I've read about a great number of different demi-humans, but I've never heard one of those before. I sadly make a mental note to research the unfamiliar name later on. For the time being, I can only smile wryly and attempt to communicate with the creature. Okay? So then, Hel, now that your cover has been blown, will you at least tell me what you were trying to do to deceive me? I wasn't trying to do anything. I succeeded with great ease. Albeit a temporary feat. You know what I meant. A chuckle escapes from Hel's mouth, faceless. I do indeed. Forgive my deception, but I assure you I meant no harm. I simply have a soft spot for beautiful creatures such as yourself. Beautiful creatures? I raised an eyebrow in response to Hel's unexpected explanation. You do know that I'm a guy, don't you? What relevance does that have? Beauty does not discriminate by sex. Besides, what harm is there in a woman finding a man attractive? I stare at Hell blankly for a moment as I attempt to process her words. Eyes begin to drift from her blank phrase to her torso, then to her legs. I unconsciously analyze her body, which I have intended to overlook due to the surprise of being her faceless feature. You're a woman? Don't get too excited. I may be interested in you, but that doesn't mean I'm easy. You have to try harder to win my heart. No, it's not that. I was just... relax. You don't need to explain yourself. You were so captivated by my lovely face that you paid no attention to the rest of my body. Am I wrong? My face twitches as I try to overcome with a retort. Painfully, however, the truth is that she's right. Settling aside matter of whether it is lovely or not, or whether it could be called a face to begin with, my attention was indeed intentionally drawn to the only single part of Hell's body. I'm sorry. Oh, don't worry. I wasn't looking for an apology. I simply wanted the party in which I have taken an interest in to know the real me. A proportion of Hell's face twitches almost like she's wrinkling. A matter later, Hell walks away, throwing one hand in the air to wave goodbye. Beautiful creatures, huh? I shake my head and try to get Hell's face or lack thereof out of my mind. To think that such a person is not only in my grade, but also in my class. This is going to be a rough year, isn't it? Taking another look around the classroom, I sigh and hang my head. After a few moments of silent contemplation, I take a free seat near the front of the classroom and wait for the class to begin. Even as the bell signifying the beginning of class rings, the noise emanating from my classroom does not die down. Dampened by the sound-blocking spell cast on the classroom door, the ringing of the bell doesn't reach the ears of my classmates. None the wiser, they continue to talk amongst themselves, happily socializing with one another without a care in the world. As such, it isn't a familiar figure enters the classroom that my classmates finally begin to settle down. Eris Monty, our grades advisor, a succubus, and also this classroom's home run teacher. Hello again, everyone. For those of you who missed the opening ceremony, my name is Iris Monty. I will be acting as both your homeroom teacher and a grades advisor for the remainder of this year. It is a pleasure to meet you all, and I do hope that we are able to get along. Iris smiles brightly at the class, charming most of the class with ease. Amidst the cheers and swooning, I begin to wonder who would win out, Iris and Hell, should be the two ever face off. Before we begin taking attendance, there are a few things that I must discuss with all of you. As you know, during your first 2 years of this academy, you are treated more like school children than university students. You are afforded many freedoms, but you will also be closely monitored and expected to strictly abide by academy rules and regulations. You will be guided, but not quoted. Everything you will need will not be handed to you on a silver platter. If you feel that you will need to be handheld every step of the way back, leave this classroom right now and do not come back. Dropping her cheerful facade, Eris glares at the classroom as she gives us all an unexpected ultimatum. Grow up or get out. A hard choice considering that most of the students in this classroom already come from non-human settlements far away. They're all sticking around. Then listen closely because this next part is important. Under no circumstances are you to pester your teachers outside of class. If you need help, ask your classmates, or double down on your studies. We're here to teach, not to babysit. We can't give parental treatment to one student just because they bitch and moan about their own ineptitude. In short, deal with your own problems. We'll neither be accountable nor go to great lengths to help you. In response to Iris's words, the students who she charmed continued to peer. As for the rest of us, however, the look on our faces are a mix of disbelief and disgust. Is this woman really a teacher? Before anybody could protest or ask any questions, Iris opens her terminal and begins taking attendance. How horrifying. Is such an irresponsible woman truly our teacher? I cannot imagine that an academy as prestigious as this would adopt such an approach towards teaching. This must surely be the will of that woman alone. I think you might be right about that. Unfortunately, I missed both the opening ceremony and our orientation day, so I haven't had the chance to hear any different from the principal or any of the teachers. I skipped the orientation day, but as somebody who attended the opening ceremony, I'm afraid I can offer you a little solace. That succubus did most of the talking. When she put the majority of her grade under a spell, they refused to listen to any of the teachers. Worst, our pathetic weakling of a principal didn't even try to stop her. He just nodded his head and allowed her to take control of her entire grade. What? I saw her power at work in the cafeteria earlier, but I didn't realize things had already gotten so out of control. Considering how many of my classmates aren't human, I'm surprised to learn that Iris's power seems to work without prejudice. Race and sex have no bearing. Everyone who hears her voice and sees her face falls under her spell. But why was I not affected this time around? Why was Laisha spared? Is it a matter of perception? Is because both of us possess strong control over Aether and we've unknowingly started to build up a tolerance to such spells? I need to look into this. Finding the situation somewhat odd, I add one more peculiar to my mental list of things to research later on. After doing so, I turn to Laisha. By the way, did you decide to sit next to me? You've been in a huff ever since the time we spoke. I figured that I would be the last person you'd want to sit next to. Don't think so highly of yourself, human. You do not merit that level of consideration. I sat here because I wanted to. Do I need more compelling reason than that? No, I suppose not. I was just thinking that. Hush, cease your idle thoughts and focus. The lesson is about to begin. After taking attendance, Iris sighs loudly and leans against the podium at the front of the classroom. She clearly demotivated and seems to possess no desire whatsoever to teach. Sigh. Back to teaching first years, huh? What do these shitty brats even know? I'm going to start from the basics of basics, aren't I? Laisha and I glance at one another, confirming that we really just hear our supposed teacher correctly. Oh well, at least there's one advantage to teaching the basics. Iris turns around and raises her hand as she holds her palm towards the wall, redirecting the flow of the Aether toward that it creates a large sheet. The sheet lights up and a large quantity of information is displayed on it. Is that a terminal? I've never made one that big myself, but I suppose there's no reason why a person couldn't make one that big. Just what is this teacher planning? Iris draws the attention of the entire class, and for once, it's not because she's charmed them. Most of the people present have never seen a terminal being used. Furthermore, as I'm aware, the only people in the classroom capable of them are Iris and I. As such, expanding her terminal to such a great size is a surefire way for Iris to captivate this class. After navigating in a seemingly rehearsed fashion, Iris opens a recorded lecture on the origins of Aether. Iris then takes her seat, kicks back, and lets the recording do her job for her. Yawn, is it finally over? It seems like it. What a waste of time. If I wanted to watch a recording all lesson, I could have done so from my dorm room. Indeed, not to mention the sheer simplicity of the submatter. Theories pertaining to Aether production, the reason why some races are capable of using magic. She must be joking. Iris was probably hoping to lose some students by either boring them or freaking them out. That is a worrying possibility, and not an unlikely one, given what we just experienced. The lecture focused mainly on studies and theories dating back to hundreds of years from a time when humans' technology could still be considered primitive at best. Graphics descriptions portrayed the dissection of demi-humans, both alive and dead, and even devolved into the old belief that eating a demi-human's heart would grant a human their powers. For a lecture which was supposed to be about basics of Aether and spellcasting, it wound up being surprisingly confrontational. Setting aside Iris's intent, the lecture itself was fairly interesting. There were quite a few controversial topics covered. I can't imagine just how any of the old academy would expose us to that kind of content on our first day. I'd wager that was our teachers doing rather than the will of the academy. As you suggest a moment ago, it was likely for the sake of horrifying students rather than teaching them. If so, then our teacher is truly a detestable woman. Sighing loudly, Laisha stands up from her seat and walks into the aisle. With her teacher gone and our classmates all having risen from their seats, it seems Laisha herself is now eyeing the door. Laisha, are you going somewhere? Our next class is in this room too, right? Shouldn't you stay put? Yeah, I mean, remain crowded in this classroom, being assaulted by an unintelligible babbling from every side. Do not be ridiculous. I shall take my leave, then return once the next lesson is about to begin. Leaving behind those few words, Laisha walks over to the door and promptly leaves the room. Most classmates, on the other hand, all continue to hang around the classroom in small groups, chatting loudly as they were before the class began. Laisha has a point. Maybe I should take a break too. I'm certainly not going to get anything done with this.